Hello peeps, welcome back to Big Deck Player with me, Matt Sparks. Today we are taking a look at a Shaman deck. I found this, as per usual, on Hearthstone.com. It's called the Elemental Spirit deck. It's been really difficult for me to find a deck that hasn't sucked too much this week. I don't know what's going on, whether it's just I'm having really terrible luck, or if I'm just getting really bad card draw, or if the decks that I'm trying out aren't as good as they're supposed to be. I don't know. But I've dropped like 4 ranks this week attempting to find decks that work, and I want to show you, because there's no point in showing you decks that I lose with, because, you know, who wants a deck that loses? So here we are. This is, as I say, this is called Elemental Spirit. Let's start at the top and work our way down as per usual. So we start off, we have 2 Earth Shocks for a bit of silence. Very useful, especially in the current meta. There's lots of Death Rattles, Undertakers, Sludge Belchers. Having silence in your deck is almost mandatory, I'd say, at the moment, unless you've got a lot of hard removal. So that's a great card, and it's only 1 mana, and obviously it can be buffed with your totems and other minions. 2 lightning bolts for some direct removal. Does 3 damage. Again, can be buffed with your totem. The Wrath of Air totem that gives you extra spell damage. Obviously, we've got the overload mechanic to consider when playing a Shaman, and there's quite a lot of spells in this deck that use the overload mechanic, and that is because at 3 cost mana we have 2 unbound elementals that gain 1/1 every time a card with overload is played. So it's ideal to try and get the unbound elementals fairly early on. I usually try to mulligan for unbound elementals, earth shocks, and maybe lightning bolts. And if you're going second, then getting a hex early on is fairly useful too, just because you're not sure what your opponent is going to be doing. So those sort of getting an unbound elemental and then some removal early on is really useful. Going back up again, we have 2 rock biter weapons for an extra 3 attack for that turn. Can be used on a minion, a totem that you summon, or you can use it on your hero himself. Because of what's in this deck later on, I'm usually a bit reluctant to use these. If I haven't got board control, I will try and use these to regain board control. But if I have, I'm not going to use it just to do 3 extra damage that turn. I'll wait until I can get the most use out of it, which I shall tell you about as we go down the deck. We have 1 Blood Mage Thalnos for extra spell damage and some card draw. This is great to combo with Lightning Bolt and some of the other spells that we have in the deck. Little bit flimsy because he's only a 1/1, but you're not putting him out there for his stats. You're putting out there for the extra spell damage for 2 mana. So if you can get him out along with the Wrath of Air totem to boost up your lightning bolts to do like 5 damage, that's incredible. And you know, 5 damage for what is essentially 3 mana, it can be pretty nice. And the card draw is good too. If you haven't got Blood Mage Thalnos, you could switch it for maybe a Loot Hoarder for the card draw, or maybe a Kobold Geomancer for the spell damage. You're not going to get both on the card, that's why this card is a legendary. But if you want the extra spell damage, then a Kobold Geomancer will do that. If you want the card draw, a Loot Hoarder is probably your best bet, although Gnomish Inventor has got the same stats and draws a card on Battle Cry rather than Death Rattle, so they're alternatives to put in instead of the Blood Mage Thalnos if you don't have it. 2 Flame Tongue Totems. It's a Shaman deck, so I think pretty much everyone plays Flame Tongue Totems in their Shaman decks, because it's a great card. It's a little bit of a soft taunt as well, because obviously if you put this out, it's going to be a target, and they're probably going to not ignore it. They're going to get rid of it as soon as they can, so yeah, it's great for using to help regain board control as well. So that's something to bear in mind. 2 Haunted Creepers, because Haunted Creepers seem to be in every deck I see at the moment. So these are great, especially if you can get these out. Comboing them with the Rockbiter or the Flame Tongue to take out slightly bigger targets is really useful. 2 Feral Spirits, again with Overload. Great little taunts. 2/3 taunts is really nice. If you can combo it with the Unbound Elemental, it gives your Elemental a bit of protection as well. Which means these guys can stop it from getting killed off. I've got 2 Hex. So anything big or anything that's potentially getting out of control, like Undertakers can do, you can use this to get rid of those and neutralize them, or just to regain some board control. These are good for that too. 2 Lava Burst. I don't see Lava Burst in many Shaman decks, just because I think for the extra 2 overload that you get on it, I'm not sure that it's that great, because it's essentially 5 damage for 5 mana. But it has got overload on it, and it is some direct removal, and it will combo with the Unbound Elemental, so it's not too bad. Again, works well with Blood Mage Salnos and everything else. 2 Lightning Storm for some AoE damage, because you need to clear that board occasionally, because sometimes that board gets a little bit out of control. 2 Unbound Elementals, as we touched on earlier. 1 Defender of Argus to give adjacent minions 1/1 and Taunt. Nice combo with the Feral Spirit, because the Feral Spirit's already got Taunt, but if you can buff the Feral Spirits up so that they're 3/4 instead of 2/3, it makes them a little bit more difficult to get rid of. 1 Gnomish Inventor for a little bit of card draw. Gnomish Inventors could be used nicely with the Defender of Argus as well, because it's already got quite a lot of health. We have a Doom Hammer, which also has Overload, has Wind Fury. This combos quite nicely with the 2 Rockbiter weapons. If you can put both Rockbiter weapons on this, then you're looking at 8 damage, which is and Wind Fury, so that's 16 damage in total, which is pretty nice. So that's why I sometimes keep the Rockbiters back for when I get stuff like that. 2 Azure Drakes for a bit more spell damage and a bit more card draw. Also, being a 4 attack minion, it means that priests have a little bit more of a hard time getting rid of them. And also combos very nicely with all the spells that we have in this deck. And then we have 3 more cards left. We have the Fire Elemental, which does 3 damage when you bring it out onto the field, which is really good. And a 6/5 for 6 is a fairly good stat-wise on the card itself. Very strong card in late game. We have 1 Black Knight to get rid of any taunts, which is really useful, especially if you're kind of almost winning and you just need to get rid of the taunt, especially something like the Ironbark Protector that druids pop out, or the Ancient of War with their 5/10 taunt. This guy just gets rid of it straight away. And then last but not least, we have Alakir the Windlord. Wind Fury, Charge, Divine Spirit, Divine Shield even, and Taunt. It's got everything. So again, this guy I like to combo with the Rockbiter weapons to get the most damage out of those if I can. So that's the deck. It's pretty strong. If you haven't got the Black Knight and Alakir, I'm not really sure what I would suggest you replace them with. If you've got maybe Earth Elementals, you could probably put those in, but I would suggest you check out the deck listing on Hearthstone.com. The link will be in the description, so you can go check it out for yourself, and maybe you'll find a suggestion for a replacement for those cards if you don't have them. So that's the Elemental Spirit deck. As per usual, if you try this deck out for yourself, let me know how you get on. If you make any videos using it, feel free to tweet me with links so I can check them out myself. If you've got any decks that you'd like me to try out for this series, just make a link of them, send it to me, let me know, and I'll check it out. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you next week on Big Deck Playa. Bye bye.